Without a doubt, email is the biggest security risk in the corporate information technology space today. Email is extremely easy to fake, hack into, and intercept. Always suspect that an email is fraudulent until proven legitimate. The reason that emails are such a problem is because they lack something called encryption. So what is encryption? Well, if you're familiar with World War II history, you may have heard of a device called the Enigma machine. The Enigma machine was a typewriter that was connected to a phone line, which was used to receive and send coded messages, primarily used by the German forces during World War II. When you pressed a key, it would send a series of pulses across a phone line to a receiving typewriter, which will then type out the key that was pressed from the sending typewriter. What was sent on the second typewriter became sort of like a rudimentary screen. It only typed text, no images, but you could see what one person had sent on a roll of paper. These typewriters were the first seen example of today's modern computers, not only able to show data on a primitive screen, roll of paper, but also able to transmit data across phone line internationally. So during World War II, these typewriters were used to communicate messages between Allied forces and their troops back at home, or German forces and their troops back at home. But to prevent spies from listening in on these messages via line taps, they came up with codes. These secret codes would be on the receiving typewriter so that the person who received the message would know what would be sent, but without the code, there was no way to know what was being sent. And this is early encryption. Technology has always built upon itself. Similar to concepts in mathematics, technology will always evolve from something that it had prior. Email is extremely similar to these messages that typewriters used to send across phone lines, going from a sender to a receiver, but they don't have encryption. They don't have a way to stop people from reading the messages or even pretending to send messages as someone else. It's this very reason that makes email really unsafe. But this applies everywhere, even outside of your home. Whenever you send data, whether you're sending photo or text or voice data, this can be picked up by nefarious actors and used for their gain, whether it be selling on the black market or creating AI clones for whatever they're looking to do, say impersonate you for extorting money out of loved ones. It's very easy for somebody to just pick up that data if it's not encrypted. So how do I keep my data safe, you may be wondering? Well, firstly, never send any data on the internet that you don't want the world to know. Never send any photos of license plates or IDs or easily identifiable locations near you over the internet. As of late, it has become a fun game for people to take photos that other people have sent them, and with their permission, photos of locations that they have been to try and figure out where they were in the globe. These people do this just as an example to show how easy it is to find somebody's location just from a single photo. If you must keep data somewhere, don't share it with the big name companies like Microsoft, Google, and Apple. The largest companies have the largest targets on their back for hackers. These large companies are usually targeted first. The smaller companies don't see as much attention. So find a smaller company that's security focused if you need to store data outside of your home. A third option, which I've been alluding to this whole time, is storing your data locally, building some sort of file server or data information hub that keeps all of your data in-house away from prying eyes. Another big problem with information technology security is physical security. It's really easy for somebody to walk in and just open your computer if you don't have a password on it. It's really easy for somebody to, over a network, steal your data that you're sending and receiving. It's been well known for a few years now that it's really easy to set up a fake wireless network at a coffee shop or a hotel or a restaurant or even an airport and pretend to be the actual wireless network of whatever place you're at. Nefarious actors can then use this wireless access point that people connect to steal their data. Say you go banking or whatever while you're out and about on this wireless network. Well, now they have access to your password and your username just from you giving it to them unknowingly through the wireless network. So to avoid that, either bring your own wireless network or don't connect to public Wi-Fi. Another big issue in information technology security is USB drives. USB drives are one of the greatest sources of viruses because they can carry them so easily. These have even taken down the US government's security systems in the past. All it takes is somebody with a little bit of knowledge on coding and the right person to pick this up in a parking lot to break into even the most secure facilities in the world. So if you do find a USB drive laying on the ground and you want to pick it up and take a look at it, connect it into a computer that you don't care about, that is off of your local network and will not go back on your local network until you have verified that it is safe. Now that you've got this in a safe computer, you can check it out, give it virus scans, whatever, but bottom line, never plug unknown hardware into your network or any device on your network if you don't know it's safe. It's actually gotten so easy to implement viruses and network sniffing devices that you can even put it in an end of a cable like this. And as technology evolves and security practices evolve, scammers evolve too. So if it seems too good to be true or too easy to access, it probably is, and it's probably a scam. Another thing that's been going on a lot lately is Chinese companies selling products to buyers and then using their data to sell on the black market. Have you ever wondered why Temu is so cheap? Well, it's because they're selling your personal data to black market brokers. So how do you stay safe online? Well, avoid sites like Temu because they will steal every little bit of data that they can. Don't hand out your personal data if you can avoid it. And if you're filling out a job application, never give them your social security number until day one of the job. Another thing you can do is watch the URL of the website. That's the name in the search bar. Ensure that the name looks correct and that the site looks correct. It's really easy to fake these things, but most of the time, hackers are lazy. They don't want to put in the work to steal the money. That's why they do what they do. So, if it's something easy that they can put together and trick a few people quickly, that's more worth it to them than try and trick a smart person. So think about it from their perspective. How would it be easy to trick somebody into doing something that would give you their personal information or maybe even their bank account information? A lot of them don't go after bank information anymore. They want your personal information because it's easier to get and it sells really well. So watch out for Google advertisements that lead you to funny places. Watch out for weird websites that don't look right. And if you do click on one of these things, get out of it as quickly as you can. The longer you're on that site, the more data you're giving them. Something else you can do is get a good antivirus software. More does not mean better. Only run one antivirus software on your computer. If you run more than one, they will clash and fight with each other and not do their job, either one of them. Some good antivirus softwares that are out there and are free are Panda Antivirus, Avast Antivirus, and Clam AV if you're on the Linux side. But there are lots of others out there. Be sure to do your research. Something else you can do to protect yourself while you're on the internet is use a VPN. I personally have been using Proton's VPN. They're a mail service, but they're highly security focused. And so far, their VPN has worked very well for me. And it's completely free if you choose to use it that way, or you can pay a subscription and they will give you more options like where you want to use the VPN from. So what is a VPN? Well, VPN is a virtual private network. It can be used in a lot of different ways, but the main one that you use over the internet is where you pretend that you are in a different location than you are. You route all of your data through that server, and then any website, anywhere you go, only sees that you are in that location. They don't see where you actually physically are. A lot of that information is freely and publicly shared by your internet service provider. Not necessarily something you want out there on the internet. Thank you. These typewriters These typewriters were seen as some of the world's first computers because they were able to send and receive data across a nope. Across a nope. Yeah. But this doesn't just apply to email. This applies to anytime you are sending data outside of your home, whether it be a text message or a Facebook picture. I know I'm old. Facebook? Who uses Facebook? Okay. All right. So how do I keep my data safe, you may be wondering? Well, never share your information that you don't want the whole world to know. Nope.